Bonjour, my name is Marie-Laure and this is my handmade home in Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up on a 17th century estate north of Paris where we have an exhibition garden and a bed and breakfast. All that I learned as a child is what I use in my work and in my home every day. I'm the owner and lead designer of Le Jardin Français. We do floral, event, and garden design. So I am definitely inspired by the beauty of nature and I bring it into my shop as well as into my house. I stumbled on this property walking the dogs in the neighborhood in 2003 and I saw a sign out in front of the gate. And I peeked in. I actually pushed through the gate and walked around the property and from the very first moment knew that this was going to be my home. This house has 2 acres property, which is very unusual in Atlanta. I think that it was daunting for many people to live here because there was no air conditioning and there was so much land to keep up with. I am grateful I knew exactly what to do with it. And so I have changed quite a bit of the indoor and outdoor rooms, creating an oasis of beauty and nature in the middle of the city. I do live a lifestyle that is very close to nature and is based on the impact that we have on the environment and on our health. Sustainability is very important to me. I am lucky to live on this large property where I can have chickens, quails, ducks, pigeons, and guinea hen. We cook with the eggs, as well as we grow mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms on logs. I have a large vegetable garden that I cook from as well. I also make my own vinegar. Oh, and I also have bees and we make honey from the property. I have a great quality of life here. People tell me that when they come into this home, they can definitely feel a French flair. It's not intentional, it is who I am. My absolute favorite space in this house is exactly where I am, my front porch, my outdoor living room. I love spending time here at the end of the day, sometimes in the morning. Everything you see around is definitely an element of nature that I have collected. I have a thing for pine cones. You'll see a lot of pine cones throughout the house. I love pine cones. They're just a fresh element that preserves and lasts for years and turns into wood. This is a trap for catching fish in the river. Everything is neutral and natural. This is an old dresser that I painted and opened up with chicken wire long time ago and use it to put things for when we go outside. I have treated this space exactly as I would treat the inside living room. I live with the doors open most of the time. In the spring and in the fall, the door is always open. So we don't run the air conditioning unless it's really hot or really cold. This is the outdoor living room and it opens into the living room. There's a very relaxed and organic and natural look and feel here. Similar to the outdoor living room, it has a lot of elements of nature. You can find pieces of wood I collected over time, palm leaves, unique shells. I love pine cones, as mentioned earlier, dried coconuts, and then some flowers and plants that I have dried and preserved. I like to collect elements of nature. I see beauty in nature and I bring it inside. In my living room, you'll notice there's no television. We don't have television in the house. We live with the doors open, and my living room is for quiet time. The color palette in my home is very neutral. I use milk paint for most of the rooms. It's a natural type of paint that you mix with natural pigments, and it lasts for over 100 years, and it evolves and cracks on the wall. I have created the look of plaster on top of dry walls. These pillows are made with French dish towels that I have turned into pillows with a burlap rim. This is an old sofa I bought at a thrift store, and I cover with linens. This is what I do. This is a look I like. Just a very free, flowy, and natural look. One of my favorite pieces in the house is something that reminds me of home that I brought back from our house in the south of France from my grandparents. Is an old traveling trunk that they actually used. I use it as a piece of furniture, and it makes me nostalgic of the south of France. This piece has also a collection of elements I have gathered at the beach, and unique white orchid that we grow in the greenhouse. Every room in this home has fresh flowers. This is a signature composition of Le Jardin Français, a French hand-tied bouquet that lives in a very simple glass bubble. The living room opens to the dining room, where we entertain and have dinners, as well as the kids' craft table. This is an old dresser I found at an estate sale, and I have some of my collections of preserved flowers and seed pods, brunia berries, rice flower that dries fully open, banksia from California, and this is allium. This is the bloom of elephant garlic from my garden. This is an old fixture that a friend gave me, and I covered the socket with lichen moss, because I like to cover things with natural elements. Right behind you is another one of my collection, where I have Coralteria seed pod, which is a seed that grow after the bloom, the summer bloom of a local tree, and it holds this color forever once it's preserved. And there is this Buddha holding lavender, preserved boxwood, where I created the boxwood and then it eventually dried. And some of the shells I've collected in Florida. These are sand dollars and corals. This is a mushroom that grew on the side of the tree here on the property. Different elements of nature. This is another oasis of fun and nature for the children, and I spend a lot of time outside around the pool. This is the space I spend the most time in. This is the kitchen. This part of the house was added in the 60s. These were old dark wood cabinets, and so I took them apart, opened the doors with chicken wire, and covered it with the color that I like throughout the house, this blue-gray. This is a range from Italy that's wonderful to cook on. I have a chalkboard for my grocery list, and these are the eggs I collected this morning. I have some really small silky eggs and araucana, and then these are the duck eggs. So the eggs that come from our chickens are also gets recycled, the shells, and we crush them and give it back to the chickens for calcium and stronger shells. I also make vinegar, so any leftover wine finishes in these jars. It's called a surface mother or surface yeast. And so it turns into vinegar because this is a living organism that turns wine into vinegar in about 6 weeks. I love cows, and this is a local artist that has been inspired by also cows. My family in the south of France had some of our land farmed with cows that are very similar to these cows. This reminds me of home. This morning I baked some froisse, which is a traditional brioche from where I'm from in the south of France. I do spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I cook a lot, and it is the space, along with the bedroom, where I spend the most time. The bedroom is kind of like a tree house. When I got the house, it was a very tiny room with an old chimney and the original wall of the house. So I took that wall out and created a platform that looks out into the trees. My favorite piece is my bed that I made with 2 old French twin beds put together. In France, there were no king size that time. So I put 2 twin beds together to create a large king size bed. I need to be surrounded by beauty. Everything I do, everything I touch has to have beauty in it. I'm not sure how to explain it. It's part of who I am. I see beauty and I play and work with beauty. I recognize beauty and bring it to a different scale. And that's my whole home. Thanks for visiting with me. See you next time. À bientôt.